Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, welcome to Don't Blame Me. And you're in for a treat today because Melissa and I recorded for what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes. A solid 30 minutes.
Absolute unhinged behavior. That's hilarious. And do you think we'll compile the best of it to include in the episode?
Yeah.
Or we can throw some in a bonus. But we got so far off track. We did 30 minutes. We never did the intro to we never explained what the show was.
I just said, this is Don't Blame Me. And then we went on a new tangent.
Yeah. So we needed to we had to do a hard reset. And sometimes this happens where you can't just suddenly get into it. No, we need to erase and we need to Control-Alt-Delete and start over. So we are starting over. I promise you that any of the good stuff you'll hear, the rest is,
Just us.
It was before my Adderall. My Adderall is still kicking in, but it was not kicked in then.
I feel like I sounded high, but I'm not.
Okay, I just want you to know that you just did the most defensive thing with your eyes. You're like,
I know,
high.
but
it sounded like I'm high. And then if people, please watch the Patreon. Literally, you're like, it sounded like I was high. And I'm not. You're like, let me look off camera as if we can't see you to open my eyes wider to make sure that no one's going to look at me and going you said you're not high.
That was for you. That was for you though, Megan.
Melissa, but we record this for the Patreon.
I know, but I was just letting you know I wasn't looking off camera. I was emphasizing this for you, but I just feel like I sounded high, but I'm really not, because when I get high, I have to go to sleep. So
yeah,
I'm not. I'm just chill today. It's just
I'm
a chill day.
It is also, unmedicated me, I have this effect on people. I have been referred to as a bad influence and an instigator. And those were really the words that were used when I was perpetually unmedicated. And it happens because when I'm getting all goofy and getting all fun, it's hard to stay on track and it's hard to stay on topic.
But
and we
started it.
And you know why? You looked at me and you said, I have an ally in this fight. She's about to be, I'm not going to redirect you. You're going to be let's talk about this. And you're that you're if I want to do this, it'll happen. She's just here she's along for the fucking ride.
It just came to me. I told you, I just woke up having a good day. And
I love it.
I just feel chill. Even though I have a big script due. And it's not for a studio. It's for a lab that I've been in. No, I'm not Scab.
It's a class.
I don't wash dishes, and I really hate washing dishes. And the thing is, I don't know why I just don't get up and rinse my glasses out after I use them. So now that I'm doing a lot of cold brew.
Oh, and you get the little ring.
Mm-hmm. I know you don't like cold brew, but I would like you to have some of mine.
I just will not have it at your home.
Okay.
I can bring it to my home.
Okay. Because you like latte. So if I made you cold brew,
I can add my own milk.
No.
Oh, you're right.
Megan.
Sorry. That's the whole fucking point.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be great. Would you like a mocha latte or just regular
chocolate?
latte? Yeah.
No, I'm good. You can just
Okay.
put vanilla if you want, but
Vanilla?
I don't,
Okay.
yeah.
Vanilla latte. Yeah.
I know. I don't want to like, because like when I make people cakes, I want to like them to challenge me because I'm like, oh, I'm a baker, and like I know you're
It's
a
not a
barista.
challenge. These are all things that
No, I know, but it's in
have.
your wheelhouse, so I don't want to like give you something of like giving a black coffee, like blah blah. You're like, that's not fun, but like, so I want to give you something that's fun. So like vanilla,
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Vanilla.
tequila.
Yep. It's really exciting for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm happy for you. I'm so excited for you.
Like it's therapy. Like it's like
No, I
like
understand.
like a ritual where I sit and I think about how I'm going to infuse the different flavors and incorporate them, and when I'm going to incorporate them
on a full moon. Like, I just have to say, like, your process of this, it's so clear that you are not dependent on caffeine to function, because you're talking about this like, oh, it's like this beautiful process. Melissa, I am a monster in the morning. Mott's just makes the coffee and I wake up and he's like, hey, good morning. I'm like, where's my coffee? Like, I'm literally like, it has to take me 5 fucking seconds. And I prefer it to be like made in a glass for me and hand it to me. And then I prefer to be in silence until I've finished drinking it. Everybody has their calling. And for me, my calling is being caffeinated immediately from the time I wake up. And your calling is being the dealer of that caffeine for people like me.
Yeah. It's the combo of the milk flavors. I had some last week, and 2 of the people that were here, you may have heard of them, Allison and Gabriel.
I was like,
they were
who the
like,
fuck are you
this is the best coffee that I've ever had. And they were like, it doesn't taste burnt. They said like the way that like it's just smooth with the milk. And I was like, thank you.
Here's the thing though. I'm going to have to make Mott's also try it too, because
yes,
I have
enough for the 2 of you.
I've got bad taste, and I will just tell, like, I know that, like, you know, no matter what, I believe that like whatever you make, I'm going to love. But on the off chance, you'll also have Mott's who will be able to compliment you on like the coffee of the coffee. I'll be able to compliment you on like, tastes good. Like I will be the caveman compliments, and Mott's can like give you a little bit of nuance there.
Thank you.
Because he knows what good coffee is. I don't.
Yeah, I make sure the beans were roasted within a week.
Do you roast the beans?
No, I go pick them up.
Okay, you buy, so the beans are pre-roasted.
Yeah, you I don't have. Do you know how?
Melissa, I don't know anything about coffee. Anything.
Oh, I do not have the machinery to roast coffee.
I don't know if it was like you roast a Brussels sprout, you roast a bean.
No, it's not the same process at all.
Oh yeah, isn't it like a kiln kind of looking thing?
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Coffee roasters. That was the coffee shop in my town, and they had a big one right at the front. I remember
and
this.
It takes hours, like your whole fucking day to do it.
Yeah, and that's why it smells so strong.
Yeah, or or it could just be Starbucks and do it fast, and then all the coffee tastes burnt. But that's not my ministry. Mine is an artisanal experience.
Is there anything you do that is not an artisanal experience?
No. But I just had to put it out there in case someone's new.
In case someone from a rep from Almond Cows was.
Yeah, and if you would like to join me in my almond cow experience, and we could even start a little almond cow chat club.
Well, it sounds like a cult.
Somebody tell Erica we've got the new job. I know she's not listening.
It's an unpaid internship.
But I'll put a link for a discount off the almond cow machine.
For the record, they don't know she exists yet. So this is not sponsored by them.
They've liked some of my posts that I've made. But if I actually like in my stories, but if I actually like edit it to the videos that I've made, they definitely know who I was.
Melissa, and if you sent them an email with the pages on pages of links to these shows where you've goddamn fucking mentioned them, they'd be like, would you like a job? Like, this is like, she's our street team. Like, you're the number one fan club, like running this whole shtick. It's impressive.
Yeah, I love it so much.
I know you do. I'm very happy for you.
Like, I don't think y'all like understand how much I truly
No,
love.
you guys, like, you think she talks about it a lot on the podcast? We talk about it just as much off camera. Like, it's just like, this is her thing right now. And I've got Love Island, you've got Almond Cow, and like, what more could you want in the world?
Honestly, what I could want is them paying me, and then I'd be set.
I could always use a little more money.
Yeah, always.
But I would love no strings attached money that just like I happen upon, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, but if I can do this like something that I love and then somebody could edit the videos, which if I was making the money, then great. Then, you know, that's what I do all day.
You'll never work a day in your life doing something you love. Shilling almond cows.
Yeah. When I think of a new infusion in my head, I'd spend time just lying in bed thinking about what the next thing is going to be.
Like, you're Christina Tosi. Like, this is just her being like, I will make a milk derived of cereal. I will squish the cereal and blend it into the milk. And then I will make ice cream out of that milk.
Because almond cow, you don't have to squish it because of the basket that's on it. You just have to. I don't want to talk about like my actual process because my process is not the same process that they like advertise. It's like my proprietary blend.
But you're going to be one of those people who sells like a Zoodles webinar course where you're like, here's my own ebook on how I make all of my Zoodles. Like,
yes. And so like, it's true. Like you don't have to do any of the squishing. You don't have to have any of the cheesecloths. You don't have to like, yeah, it's just great.
I'm really happy for you. I really am.
Seem sarcastic.
No. I love it, and I hope your parents listen and know how much this gift that they got you.
Oh, they know.
Is appreciated.
Don't worry, they know.
They're like, God damn it! Why did we get her this shit?
Now they're like, we need one. I was like, y'all will never use this. You'll use it one time.
Wasted.
No, I'll be like, y'all use it one time, stick it in the corner, and forget to like clean a part of it, and then it's just gonna be covered in mold.
Oh yeah. No, they won't appreciate it, and they're not almond milk engineers like you. Like you're using your science background for this, and like they just don't get it. They're just recreation. They want to participate, but like they don't know the art that goes into this.
And I figured out how to do it. Like, you know how everybody's like, I need a pump of blah 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 with this. Like, if you really work with what the raw ingredients you have, you don't have to do all that. But there's a way to infuse it in an artisanal way.
Melissa's segment, exclusive on Goop.
You can't say that.
No, Melissa, that was not derogatory. That was earnest and out of a place of love. I will be the first to admit it. I love her.
I do too.
And I know I'm not supposed to, but like, I don't care. Well, on that note, welcome to the podcast. We're going to give you advice. And you're probably listening going, these two? Between the two of them, this seems a little chaotic. And you know what? You're right. We might not be on the same page. We might have very differing thoughts. One of us might be giving you incredibly toxic advice. The other one might be really looking out for your best interest. But at the end of the day, we both are doing this out of love and out of care. And we want the best for all of you and in your lives. And sometimes the best thing for you is to be told when you are being, my new favorite word, a little delulu.
Lemon.
Lemon?
Yeah, say it again.
Delulu?
Lemon.
Thank you for doing it a second time because I did get it that time. I have a slow processing speed, but an incredibly quick output.
And that's fun. That is a great way to describe yourself.
I think someone should put that in the DSM-5 for ADHD. Like, that's actually, like, really astute.
I think you should put it just, like, in your biography.
Instead, like, what about my bios? Instead of saying, will bully you. Because I needed to give a disclaimer because people were all shocked. And I was like, I never said I was nice. If you thought I was nice, that's on you. I am kind. I'm not nice.
We've been through this.
Exactly.
I think I figured out why people are now using this little thing in the messages because now you can put songs on there.
Oh my God. I do not need more people to like do like a fucking like passive aggressive post of like for one person. Like
it only shows up to people that you follow. So like you have to be mutuals for it to show up. So it is going to be just very targeted.
Yeah. So like, here's how I feel about those Khloe Kardashian quotes. And I'm not above it. I have definitely done that. So Khloe Kardashian always posts these like quotes on her Instagram story, like whether inspirational or like it's always the people closest to you, but they're all like screenshots from Pinterest. And everybody was like, okay, ma'am, like just send it to him. Like, this is just like, we don't need to be spectators in this. Like, this is so uncomfortable. And really the true hack of it is you want, whether it's a thirst trap or a passive aggressive like quote or something like that, you set your story where it is only visible by that one person you want to show that to. Because the results of like you posting a passive aggressive thing like that is all of your friends being like, who's this for? Like, what's this about?
I've done a close friends thing where it was really just meant for one person. I deleted everybody else off and just had that one person be the close friend. It's a great way because they think it's going to all your close friends, but it's not.
That's even smarter.
It's
Close
just to them.
Friends.
Yes.
And then they go, is this play about us? Wait, who was it? Was this recent?
No.
Okay, so I couldn't
You wouldn't
guess.
have seen it though. No.
I understand the category.
Okay.
Category is... Anyways, I hope that someone is new here and they're just like, what the fuck am I listening to?
Like 20 minutes about nonsense.
Nonsense? Don't say that about Almond Cow. They're going to revoke your non-existent
brand deal. Job.
It will happen. Anyways, we're doing it again. Welcome to Don't Blame Me, where we, Meghan and Melisa, give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And how can we do that? Because we have microphones, we started a podcast, and we're it. So we're going to give you advice. How this works is we are going to play some calls, voicemails. So if you would like to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. For both of those, you only have 3 minutes. If you're calling on the Google Voice number, it is from the time that you hear beep. That wasn't the real beep. Everyone, you have to call. This is not like an interactive thing. Dora the Explorer. Anyways, you leave the voicemail. You have 3 minutes from that time. And my meds should kick in probably around 3 minutes. It's usually about an hour.
Going. Keep going.
You have 3
you
minutes.
Said everything.
Yeah, you have 3 minutes from the time that it beeps. And to make best use of your time, which also you have to be 18 over, have your parents' permission. We do require that you include your age in the call. It is all anonymous, so don't worry about saying your name or anyone else's name. You can just create some pseudonyms. And the Patreon is like really just, they're getting so much today. They're getting so much because like, Melissa, there's like the vocal and the topical things that we're talking about. There's a whole other storyline happening in the facial expressions between the two of us. The movements, the camera angles. It's great.
I had a chill. I didn't. Just apologies, everyone.
You don't have to explain it to the girl who does that. I do that all day, every day.
I do too. But I don't think I've had one that deep on camera.
No, you shook your table. Use fake names, pseudonyms, and all of that. But to make best use of those 3 minutes, we suggest that you write everything down that you're going to say, practice a few times, time it out, make sure that you have all of the relevant details in there. If there's like a lot of history to this and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so much like this, give us the juicy, hard hitting, really relevant things. Like imagine you're like a lawyer on trial and you're like, okay, what's really going to seal this deal? Like what's going to really paint my case? If it's, it's a character witness, you're describing someone. Let us know what's happening in your life and the problems that you are dealing with, the situation that is at hand, and we will give some fantastic, amazing advice. It all comes from a place of love. We are doing this because we care. We want everyone's life to turn out exactly how it should be and all good, all great, all fantastic. But if you are sensitive, let us know because we do take that into account when we are wording things. We're not. I know that we can be a little prickly, but if you tell me hey, I have sensitive skin, I'll be like, I'll keep that in mind.
That's really nice of you.
Thank you. I have sensitive skin.
All right. Now let's get into our update.
Got a weird spot on my skin. I should go to the doctor. Okay.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I'm calling for an update from my call from episode Timid in Bed. Firstly, I would like to formally apologize for driving while calling. It was very dumb and will not happen again. I am now safely parked in my car, so yes, apologies. So my call was the episode title where I was just starting to date a girl and needed some advice on getting dirtier in bed. So regarding our relationship, I ended up breaking up with her about 2 months in because I struggle with relationship anxiety or relationship OCD and was just overthinking a lot and didn't think I felt a spark with her. After a couple of months apart, she reached out to me wanting a friends with benefits situation, and I was hesitant because I was scared of feelings developing on either side, but eventually wanted to give it a try because casual sex with a consistent person is something I've always been interested in, and I trusted that she was a good person to do it with. You guys suggested that I watch porn, which I do, but there isn't a lot of good free lesbian porn out there, and I feel like I'm starting to get desensitized to porn in general, which I don't want to happen. I also tried what Melissa suggested about listening to Pornhub audios with people just talking about what they like, etc., which was kind of nice, but also made me cringe at the same time. But she and I continue to talk about what we like, and I'm happy to inform you that I had some of the best sex I've ever had in my life last week. It was passionate, and we both pushed each other around a little bit. I also masturbated in front of her, which is something Melissa suggested as well, and she thought it was really hot. She has a praise kink, so I bought rainbow star stickers to put on her forehead while she's eating me out, lol. And we're going to use a strap on as soon as she buys a harness. She's also utilized sexting, which is fantastic foreplay, and yeah, we're truly having a great time together. The thing now is I think I am developing feelings for her, and I'm starting to feel the spark I didn't think I felt before. She started texting me more, and now we're texting from morning to night every day. A couple nights ago, I was going to go over to her place, and she texted me right before I left that she was really tired and probably didn't have the stamina to have sex, but she still wanted me to come over, so I did, and we ordered food and watched TV and ended up cuddling and kissing, and it was really nice. I feel like now if I want to tell her how I feel, I have to be 100% sure that being with her is what I want, since I was the one to end it the last time. But I am a chronic overthinker, especially when it comes to relationships, and I'm trying to change that. I'd love to know your thoughts on this whole situation, and thank you again for your great advice. I love you guys. Bye.
I just have to applaud you for your ingenuity, your craftiness, and your insight, because the fact that you went from praise kink to rainbow stickers on her forehead when she's eating you out is beautiful. For me, that never would have crossed my mind, but for me, a praise kink, I'm like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so amazing. A sticker, Melissa, I did this Food Network Tastemade show, and first season, or the first show I did with them, great, I would always ask the DP, being like, was that good? Did I do good? Did I do good? And I always ask the director, and they were like, yeah, you did good, you did great. And for the second show, they made me a sticker chart, which I got the same amount of stickers every single day, and they all just said really nice things, and different people on the crew would be like, Megan, I'm putting a sticker on your chart today. And so it was never one day was better than the other. It was just I constantly got stickers, and I didn't realize that a sticker to tell you that you did a good job is the best fucking praise you can get.
And so while I was listening to this story, I was like, are you giving stickers as she's hitting a certain spot? Is it oh, that was good? Or is at the end after you come, you just put a sticker on there? I have questions. I would like to know the answers because I'm very interested in this. It made me chuckle in a good way.
I think if you have a praise kink, I think for me as someone who, I don't think I have a praise kink because there's no sexual component of it, but I'm a Leo. I love being told I'm doing amazing. I love all of that stuff. And I also love participation awards. So I don't want it to be related to my actual, I want to be doing good all the time. Don't get me in my own head about this. I'm giving head. I'm a little too busy,
But it works for her.
No, I know, but so I'm saying maybe she's just getting participation. She's getting the stickers just for a job well done.
I feel that y'all are together, and you kind of maybe the reason why you feel that spark is because you're actually having great sex, and that might have been what was missing. I don't know why y'all actually broke up, but that might have been part of what was missing the last time. If y'all,
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Y'all were clearly on good terms. If you wanted to continue the physical aspect, well, I guess you could not be on good terms with somebody and just want to fuck them.
But that would be friends with benefits.
That wouldn't be friends with benefits. That'd be enemies with benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Which
a new fanfic
may cause me to revisit something. Anyway, I had never thought about it that way. But are you asking for advice now?
Well, I was going to say
an update, but are you?
They
asking
did ask for some
advice?
additional.
So I say just go with it. Just go with vibes and just see how things are landing. And if like you're enjoying more time out of the bedroom in addition to, the great best sex that you've ever had in your life, then like, why not?
I think she took a chaotic choice that we would have given if she was calling in your friend with benefits. If she was calling into the podcast to get some advice, we would have been like, if it's not going to work, like don't waste your time, all of that stuff. And then the chaotic advice would have been like, hey, if you think that she's just a commitment phobe and like she's like worried about that and like there is a real connection there, be friends with benefits and weasel your way in there before she realizes like, oh my God, I accidentally fell in love with you and like now I want to date you. That's I think what happened. Like I do not think that this was she knew, and like you said that it ended because you get over, like I don't remember the exact phrasing,
overthinking.
Yeah. And like about relationship stuff specifically. And then it was like, oh, now we're friends with benefits. And like now like the, sex is really good. And like you're not overthinking and you're not like going through all of those things. Like to me, I'm just like, she played the long game. Like it was like to get you out of your own head, there needs to not be like a label attached to this. And there needs to not be like an expectation. And if it's like, oh, we're just friends. And like you went to the point for like, being like nervous or, overthinking to like feeling comfortable enough to like put stickers on her face when she's like when she's going down on you. Like that is primo. But the difference between friends with benefits and a relationship or something more serious is truly just like the desire for a title and for the commitment. Like the feelings aren't changing there. And so I think like if you're worried that like you're going to freak out again, that's the only difference there. Like the difference isn't like, oh, I feel differently about you. Like, oh, I like, now I like you. I didn't like you before. Like you like the people that you're friends with. The difference between friends and sexual partners that you have like long-term or like relationships that involve sex is the sex. Like they're based in friendship. So I think you're checking all of the boxes here. And I don't think that you'll freak out again because like you've done all of the you're doing all of the stuff. And you might be freaked out by the title, but now you want it. I say just tell her. And she's going to be like, well, yeah, obviously this is my plan.
Yeah. Like we go together. You don't have
like,
to.
We are dating.
What's understood doesn't have to be.
You can just be like, so we're dating now, right?
Like we go together. Like we're together. Like
you want to go steady, go to the sock hop.
You want to wear my ring?
My Letterman jacket. Well, I have high hopes for this, and this is very sweet and really. I think that like I like her already because like to me this I feel like I can see through this, that she knew what you needed and anticipated and was like, she did a little shuffle, a Cupid shuffle, you may say. And now
to the left.
You're going to say this to her and she's going to go, wah, ha, ha, ha. My plan worked. And I love that. I love a romantic plan.
All right. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into our calls.
Hell yeah. We're back.
Before we get into this call, I would like to give a content warning for suicide.
Hey, besties. Okay, so I know y'all literally just did an episode about, like, friendship and, like, ending friendships, but I have a little dilemma. Not dilemma. I have a thing, okay? So basically, here's what happened. 2 years ago, I attempted to own myself, and my best friend at the time, best friend slash lover, it was blurred anyway, decided to cut all contact with me. So I haven't talked to this individual since 2021, like late 2021, like September. But for some reason, I can't seem to get out of my head this, like, idea that one day we're going to, like, rekindle things and one day, like, we're going to be friends again. Because this person's made it very clear that they want nothing to do with me and they've blocked me on everything. And I have been kind of telling people that I'm not a good person, stuff like that. But I still have this, like, idea in my head of, like, oh my God, what if we're supposed to be, like, what if one day we end up being friends again? Or what if one day we run into each other and it's like this, like, 20 years gone by and nothing's changed kind of, like, I have, like, these delusions because I'm delusional. And I just want to know, like, how the hell do I get over this? Like, how do I go from a person being, like, my world to, like, somebody that I used to know? Like, the whole, like, Guilty A fucking song, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. Sorry, that was just so long and chaotic. I love you both. Also, I'm an Aries. Okay, bye.
I have to say, when you started this call with, hey, besties, I was like, we're not your besties. We ended this call and I was like, bye, bestie. Like, we are your besties. Like, we don't get the vibe check of everybody. So, like, you get our vibe and you were right. Like, we would be friends. Like, this is like how you're fucking funny.
I'm so glad that you're so self-aware because I was like, Megan's new favorite word is she likes to say a lot.
I did not claim it. Someone said it. Someone called me Delulu in my DMs and I said, thank you so much putting that in my pocket.
And that's all I was thinking about. But you know it. You said I'm delusional. You said I have a dilemma. Whenever I hear dilemma, I immediately think of the Kelly and Nelly song, who both of them were Delulu in that song. And so you had already set me up for what this vibe would be, and then you threw a curveball in there, and I was like, ooh. But then, we're back here. But yes, you are delusional.
Yeah.
Yes, like one thing that you said is that I have this idea. What this is just like a idea that you had that you've been ruminating on. Like, it doesn't matter how many times we have these conversations in our head. They never go how we planned because what we made in our head was just a fantasy. This person doesn't like you. And I think, like, the sooner you accept that, then the sooner you can move on. Like, they don't want to be with you. You already said that the lines were blurred between lover and friend, which means that there was no clear direction in what your relationship was anyway. So let's just come down to reality. Know that, like, they don't want you in their life. They don't want you, period. And this is you. Live your life for you and not somebody else.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. The timing of this, if I'm not mistaken, is the friendship ended like either right before, right after, or because of the attempt. And like you said, your ex best friend slash lover or whatever doesn't think that you're a good person. And so I would ask you, like, do you think you're a good person? Because the statement that someone else doesn't think you're a good person, they're saying that behind your back. And then your desire and this idea of wanting this to work out, is that because you think if it works out, that means you're not a bad person? Or do you think that you're not offended by what she said or hurt by what she said because you think you're a bad person? Like, that statement, when someone says that, like, that should really be a nail in a coffin. Like, when someone says something like behind your back, they're not a good person, like, that should be the end of the relationship on your end as well. Like, that's not a statement you kind of go back from or like forgive someone. Like, that's a really like fucked up, harsh thing to say, unless you believe it or you think that their mind can be changed. So I don't know the circumstance in which this friendship ended, and if it ended in a way that like you're not proud of, and if you look back on, you're like, yeah, I don't think that I'm a good person from how that friendship ended, or if your friend was put in a situation that you're like not okay with, but they don't need to forgive you. You need to forgive you. And so like, you can't have that resting on that. So you even said like, you know, I'm just like thinking about like how close we are and now suddenly it's nothing. And like Melissa said, like, it's the idea. And I don't know if you have dealt with this before, like if you've dealt with an attempt before, or your state of your like your emotional state or like whatever led up to that. If like this, you've never been to this point before or anything comparable, then are you viewing your friend as that other version of you who hadn't dealt with this stuff and like didn't, you know, there's something there that trying to get back to that. And for you, are they representative of that? And so is it like, are you striving to get back with them or rekindle with them because you were good together, because the relationship was good, because you were a better person when you were around them and they were a better person when they were around you? Like, what were the good things there versus like, what does it say? Like, does it say that if they forgive you and you have a relationship moving forward, does that mean then you're giving your permission to forgive yourself? Or does it mean if they forgive you and shit changes that you're not a bad person? Like, there's all of these things that, like Melissa said, like, we want people to say one thing, and there are thousands of different like options of what they can say. And the likelihood that they're going to land on and say the exact thing you want to hear is so unlikely. But on top of that, most of the other things that they're going to say are going to harm. They're not they're not harmless. They're going to hurt, and it's going to be hard. And you're into this idea, and whether that's because they're a marker in time for when things were different for you or when you felt like you were different. But the way that you get out of these, in your exact words, like being like delusional, is recognizing that, yeah, like these other characters, like Melissa said, they have agency and they've made it abundantly clear what they want. And this is like advice I always give. I don't even know on the podcast, but like my friends in real life, when you're talking about like the obstacles and the hurdles and like, you know, the only way that this could happen, I'm like, is this like, if you were reading a book about this, would you be rooting for these characters to get together? Like, is this like a story that you'd want to like tell, like you'd be excited to tell the people you're closest to? Like, is this something that you would want if you have future children or the young people in your life with like kids that you mentor, family members, whoever, like the young people in your life, that this is something that they should strive for? Like, would someone else want to put this on a vision board? Like, I know that relationships aren't perfect and how we get there and that, but when we're actively seeking out something that is harmful for us in our current day, even if it wasn't harmful prior, like we're asking to be hurt again. And to me, this is like a time for like self-reflection, especially 2 years after this has happened. I promise you will be able to get over this as soon as you stop engaging in it. Because the reason why it's the 2 years of delusional, like, don't look at this of like, oh, I've been trying to get over this for 2 years. You haven't. You're starting from square one, and it's, I'm deleting everything, every picture. I'm putting them on like in an album that is a password lock. I'm putting it on my computer or something. Like, I'm not looking at photos. I'm unfollowing them on social media. Anytime I start thinking of them, do Pavlov's response. Every time I start thinking of them, I'm doing a push-up. Every time I start thinking of them, I'm sticking my head in the freezer. Like, I'm going to do a response. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to open my phone and scroll on TikTok. Like, those are the same advice I give. And like, as someone who deals with intrusive thoughts, like, I need to swap that. And so when you have something that is like this quick impulse that you know can lead to a much bigger spiral, and for you, this has been 2 years of this, then it's like, no, replace that. Sour candy, replace that. Like something else to like specifically reset your nervous system. And so it gets to the point where either it's annoying to think about them or talk about them because you're making yourself do a burpee every time, or becomes like a physiological, psychological response because you're shocking your immune system, you're getting in the shower, sour candy, like you're doing all of these other things, that it becomes more effort than it's worth. Like there's no positive outcome of that. It's just redirection, and it's going to take a while. And distractions, hobbies, like things with friends, like things where you're talking with other people, like a Bumble BFF, like hanging out with someone, like anything that involves you getting out of your head. And I also don't advise this to be like a writing prompt, because I think when you're someone who tends to pinpoint and like spiral or hone in on something, writing is the same way, that you can get it out. But if you're someone who really focuses in, it's just more material and more and more and more. And so something that involves other people and social interactions, or like tactile pottery, hand things that you can't like just constantly daydream and think about these realities that just like don't exist.
Yeah. Agree.
And once you're able to move on from this, it's going to open you up for so many better friendships, romantic or not, like, because right now your brain capacity and your brain space for those relationships, platonic and romantic, sexual, like that's taken up by this person who's not actually fulfilling any of them. So,
yep. Agree. All right.
Best of luck. Love your vibe.
Give us an update, please. Here's the next call.
Hi, Melissa and Megan. I'll just get right into it. I don't like my best friend's boyfriend. I am 20 and go by she, her pronouns. My best friend, we'll call her Annie, is 24 and goes by she, her pronouns as well. Annie and I have been friends for well over a decade. She dated this guy, we'll call him A, for 4 years. I never thought much about it, but we didn't really see each other that much in those 4 years. Well, he dumped her out of nowhere 2 years ago and then led her on, got back together with her, but wasn't like officially back with her, used her for sex, emotionally manipulated her, then cheated on her, and was really disrespectful and nasty after that. It also turns out that she felt the most insecure she's ever felt in her life in that relationship. He made her feel shitty all the time. And she told me she really lost herself in that relationship, which I really believe, because she's genuinely thriving since the breakup. Her entire family agrees she's actually glowing since the breakup. Well, A crawled his way back in recently, and after only 2 weeks, they're already officially back together. And I'm struggling being a supportive friend. None of our other friends like him. And her twin sister, who I'm really close with, doesn't like him either. So it's not just me. And I told her I support her and I love her, and I know she's just going to do what she needs to do and what she wants to do. But I think it's a bad idea, and I left it at that, because I know I can't judge her or tell her that I don't like him all the time, and that will just drive her away. But since then, she's told our friends about the dates they've been on, sent pictures in our group chat, and announced they're official. And I've said literally nothing. And I said nothing because I'm not really happy for her. I, of course, want my friend to be happy, but I genuinely think she was thriving and doing well without him. I don't think she needs him to bring her happiness, as harsh as that sounds. And I really see him taking it all away. Like, all this happiness she feels now, he's just going to take away at some point and hurt her again. But my problem is I don't want to seem judgmental or harm our friendship because I don't like this boyfriend. I also don't want to lie, and in person, my face really tells anything I don't say out loud. So I really need advice on how to be a good friend in this situation. I also need advice when she inevitably asks me to see him in person or talk to him because she's already brought it up. And I really need advice because I just have a major bitch face.
Are you on a plane?
That's really what that sounded like. I was like, what does it sound like? It was that. This is difficult, but you're trying to prevent her from harm that he's going to cause. If he's caused harm or whatever, like, she has agency. If he's going to break her heart again, if she got back together with him in 2 weeks, like, I think a lot of the stuff that she probably said afterwards was to make herself, you know, feel better. Like, we say things after like breakups and stuff like that. But if he was able to weasel his way back in 2 weeks and they're official, you know, she might have been thriving from an outside perspective, but internally, like, was not. And she was really deeply insecure, but she's not over this relationship. And as much as you want to protect her from this and avoid all of this, you can't. And that sucks. But she has to like figure it out on her own. And you said your piece. And so to that, I don't think you have to say any more. If she asks you for advice, I would just be like, I don't like, you know, this doesn't seem like you can even like, this is not really my wheelhouse, or like, I don't really feel comfortable. Like, I know, like, I would definitely talk to so-and-so. I would talk to so-and-so about that or something, like, I don't know. And you don't have to keep reiterating that you don't like him. And then
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
same thing when you like see him in person, like, she knows how you feel. You only have to say it once. Nobody will ever forget if one of their best friends says, like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, we remember that shit. Like, you remember if someone tells you that, like, you know, your best friend tells you like, oh, I'm going to hang out with someone else. Like, your top doesn't look cute today. If someone says something that like hurts your feelings or like feels like a judgment or whatever it is, you're going to remember. And the fact that she didn't immediately cut you off or like lash out, I think that there's a little bit of maybe not awareness, but perspective in the sense that like shit has gone wrong before and she has needed the people in her life and she's not trying to isolate you. So don't isolate yourself because you also don't want to do that. So you've already said your piece. You don't have to say any more. And that's it. If you have a bitch face, okay. But if it's a follow-up conversation and question, like, you already said your piece, you do not have to reiterate it to her, because if you reiterate to her, it will get worse, and she knows it. So I also don't think that she's probably going to come to you for advice. And if she does come to you for advice on something, if something's going wrong, I wouldn't do a disclaimer. And I've done this before with people who I was close with, where it's like, okay, before we get into this, like, I need to know, like, that we're on the same page with like your audience, because like we've had that one conversation before. So you know where I stand. So are you coming to me for advice because you know where I stand and you need me to say the things that you know that I feel? Or is it not that? And if that's the case, like, reach out to so-and-so. Like, I think they'll be great. But like, do you want me to be honest, or what do you want? What do you want me to say? And so you can't do everything for her and like think ahead of how these things are going to go. And I do think though that you have to be happy for her as long as she's currently and present day happy. So I don't think that you can be like, I'm happy as long as she's happy. So then if she's happy, then that's the role that you have to play. And I've been you before, and I've screwed up friendships because I've said too much, and I've then been vilified by the other person, and friendships have ended, and then friendships have rekindled. So it's just a matter of if she's safe in this situation, if she has people, she has her family around, she has her friends, if she's talking to you about it, if she's sending pictures, if she's talking about the relationship, and she feels that you are a person who, she knows that you don't like them. And so she knows if things were to go bad, that you'll be there in a fucking second, ready to help her, then that's like the greatest thing you could do as a friend. But you can't prevent her from making the choices she wants to make, because that's also not a good friend. Even if your intentions are good, removing that kind of agency or thinking that someone doesn't have the capacity to make good decisions in a relationship, in like a romantic relationship, that's a trait and an instance that we see as something that is like abusive and belittling. And, you know, when we're doing that for children, when we're doing it for people who are disabled, doing it for the elderly, like taking away someone's agency because you think you know better than them is not a position of power to empower your friend to be in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, you can be, I know you asked us like specifically, like, how do I be a supportive friend? You don't. You be a friend and you don't have to support this relationship, because if you do, you're lying to her. When she knows how you feel about it. And if you're going to be a supportive in their relationship, that means you're just going to be fake to her. And that's not what she needs. She needs an actual friend. That means like how to be the friend is like Megan was saying, like you can be there for her if something arises and she knows like that you're there for her, but like you can just not talk about this relationship. Like she should know that like you're not the person to come for when she needs, you know, something positive to say about this dude, or like anything that's positive in a relationship, because you don't support it. And I've had a friend who was in a very bad relationship, a toxic relationship with someone I did not like, and they knew I didn't like them. Also, the boyfriend knew that I didn't like him. Everyone knew. The whole friend group, family, not a secret at all. But I was still able to maintain my relationship with her. But then when he went a little too far and did something that he should not have been doing, I was the first person that she called, because she knew that I would be there for her, because I was supportive of her, but not the relationship. And I helped get her out that situation. And so I think that's just kind of what you have to do for her, if that's what you want to still be in her life.
Yeah. And it's a process. And I made the mistake in these things of like, when someone's been in the trenches for this for like years and years, they can't see clearly. So there are certain words you shouldn't use and certain things, like people need to be eased into it if they're trying to get out or having that recognition. But right now she's not there. Right now, like it's barricades up. Like she's sending pictures. She's happy. Like there are no cracks right now in this. And she was only even said like the stuff that it was so bad. She told you after the relationship ended that she was incredibly miserable after. So you need to know that like right now she's in this other phase. She's in this other mindset of this, and that old her and that old relationship doesn't exist to her. But you know that, so you can keep that in the back of your mind and you can be there for support. And if you see him say something or do something, you can call him out directly of being like, hey, that like wasn't very nice. I think that's always better to do as opposed to putting it on the person who's dating them. And then you can like, you know, follow up of being like, oh, like that other thing, like they said that, like, what did that mean? And have her come to those realizations of something that you might have seen or experienced that did not seem very kind or good, so that she can realize that now. But if he's super toxic, he'll be vilifying you and everyone. And so you have to be the friend there. So any shit he says about you or other people, she won't believe because there's no evidence of that. But when it's like everyone's trying to like just destroy us, everyone's trying to take us down, if that is kind of the MO at the end of the day, like then he's not wrong there. And then that can become a really isolating thing. But it's hard. But yeah, like Melissa said, keep the friendship separate. Like it doesn't, you don't have to participate in that with him. And she should be able to acknowledge that too. And I'm also thinking at a certain point too, if you kind of just like have to lie and put on a good face to get through one day of it, you don't have to say that you like him, but she knows that you don't. So if it's important for her, for you to spend some time with him, it might also be helpful for you to get a little bit of intel on him and like see where those things are at. Because if you do not interact with him at all, even once, there might be some isolation from friends there. Like if you can't be in the same room with him, then it's like oh, then she might be like, then I can't hang out with you.
Yeah, I mean, I would be in the same room with this dude all the time. I didn't talk to him. I didn't acknowledge his presence, but I could be in the same room with him.
Also, there's a way to be an absolute asshole and cunt to someone so they're the only ones who know that that's what it means.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yep. All right, we're going to take another break, and then we'll be back. All right, let's go to Don't Blame Them. What's Don't Blame Them?
Don't Blame Them is when listeners call in with their own advice pertaining to calls that we've aired on previous episodes. And so they might be like, oh, I've got some professional experience, or I have some personal experience with this, or I have a friend of a friend who had some personal experience and I would like to share on their behalf, or I think I should have a podcast and I love the sound of my own voice. To that I say, amen, sister friend.
Hi, so I'm calling in for a Don't Blame Them for the episode Obsessive Ex Has My Nudes, and it's actually for the title call on this. And I'm just going to put a trigger warning. This does briefly discuss domestic abuse. I really just wanted to emphasize Meghan and Melissa's point that she should go talk to her boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend that she's asking to delete her sex tapes in a public place. And also maybe take someone with her. I have a very close friend who, unfortunately, when she went to get her stuff from one of her exes who was a bit controlling.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
He sexually assaulted her, and they used to live together, and she went to their old house, which is where he was living. She was moving out, and yeah, it's caused her significant issues, and it's really hard, as a friend, because we didn't think that this could happen, and no one thinks that this could happen to them. But if one of us had just gone with her, maybe it would have been different. If we had, chosen to do this in a public place, maybe it would be different. Anyway, I just really wanted to emphasize that advice from Meghan and Melissa, and just to anyone that's listening to these calls. Honestly, anytime I break up with anyone in the future, I will definitely go with a buddy and probably make it in a public place. For this caller, I know they said like maybe a Target parking lot or something. Maybe have a friend drive you there and be in the car, and then talk to him like one-on-one, since, obviously if these are your sex tapes together, he might be in them, and he understandably would want some confidentiality with that as well. But yeah, you guys give great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think it's a good MO. Like, I really do think, you never know how someone is like going to react, even if you think it's amicable. Like, I don't think it's overkill to do things like in a public space or in a private. I always think a private area of a public space where you're within volume, eye shot and earshot with people, specifically someone who knows what you're doing. I have the same MO when it comes to like first dates, for when people are like meeting up with someone or going out with someone, especially in cases where you think that some other person might be a little blindsided, or they're doing something that's made you uncomfy, even if you're like, well, I don't think it would ever get to this point. But that's the thing we were saying driving home. It's like, but the having the controlling and having of these videos and feeling a certain way about it, like that feeling doesn't come out of nowhere, and that's a characteristic and an indication of a different kind of person.
Yeah, you never know how somebody is going to react, or how they're feeling that day, or what they've been thinking about, and how they expect it to go, and it doesn't go, and then they snap or just do something that you would think is out of character. But do we truly really even know this person?
Yeah. And especially when you're choosing to end a relationship, there's reasons why. Like there's reasons why you're leaving that relationship. So even if you think these are completely unrelated and this person would never do that, even if you lived with someone and it feels like you know them like so well, you're not staying together. You're wanting to end this. And there's a reason why people, when they're met with things that they don't like, can act in ways that we don't know. And they're obviously a different person than when you started dating them because you're breaking up, or you're a different person from when you started dating them. So the gauge and the read we have on people, just because we dated them, that doesn't mean that we know them better or it's correct or we know what they're going to do. And it's always better to be safe. And anyone where nothing bad does happen would never be like, oh, I can't believe you would do, like, if someone goes, I can't believe you think I might do that. It's like, what do you mean? What? No,
if somebody thought that I may harm them in some way and brought, a friend along, then I'd be like, okay, like if you're a person that has sense, then you would be okay with that.
Yeah. And like, that like, even we, like when you're faced with trauma or faced with like really hard things, like you always still don't always know how you're going to act. And like, I think that I would never be offended or hurt or feel judged or attacked if someone set something up that they felt that they needed for their safety. I would just be like, yeah, that's great. Like having that wherewithal is great. Yeah. However this needs to go about for you to do what you need to do, like whatever steps you need to take to accomplish the goal, do that safely. So thank you to that Don't Blame Them caller for calling in. And I would urge you and the rest of your friends not to, blame yourselves for this or think about like those like what ifs and all of that. Instead, channel that like same energy into uplifting your friend and like what she went through and, being there in the future to support her and in different ways. But like life happens, and other people being the perpetrators of crimes and sexual assault, violent or non-violent crimes, emotional abuse, physical abuse is never, those people are bad people, and their actions, while they might have taken a quick sidestep and things might have been a little bit different there, you also don't know that they would have been different. So it's just as likely that they would have been exactly the same. And now you want to approach future situations different. And all you can do from that is, adjust your behavior to the information that you have. So I wouldn't blame yourselves or dwell on that, because she needs you, and she needs, doesn't need the what ifs. It's not your fault at all.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Don't Blame Me. If you'd like to call on for an upcoming episode, leave us a voicemail. Send us a voice memo. Nope, I already said the number and I did the email before. Just go back and look at the show notes.
It's also
great.
in the show notes. If you ever have questions about the general structure about the show, all the information is in the show notes.
And if you have a question that's like, oh no, this is like ridiculously specific, you can send us a DM and we might respond. Or you can send us a personal DM and we might respond. Maybe we'll talk about it on an episode. So if you would like to follow us on socials, we would love that so much. So if you would like to join along on our slate of content, we upload and podcasts as well as Patreon video versions of some of our podcasts. We do all of those so much during the week, and you should subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow,
like button.
Tomorrow you're gonna hear about a rendition of this podcast if robots did it.
Wow.
On See You Next Tuesday. On Thursday, we're gonna be talking about Cheetah Girls 2.
Melissa has some of the hottest takes I've literally ever heard.
But they're
as
facts.
A cheetah sister.
And then on Friday, we will also be hearing robots taking over for But Am I Wrong, as well as the results from Cheetah Girls 1.
It's a fantastic, wonderful, amazing, great, gorgeous time. And you should join us, follow along. Yeah, I'll get better at posting on the Instagram too. She thinks. Maybe I'll get antibiotics for my sinus infection, and then life will get a little bit easier.
Oh my fucking God.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Laureau, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.